Are you seeking more energy and ready to have more healings and revealings in your life? Then you've tuned into the right program. For the next hour, listen in as Reverend Temple Hayes, spiritual leader of First Unity at Unity Campus in St. Petersburg, Florida, shares with you tools you can use to transform your life. She will guide you on a journey to create a life that is intentional and dynamic. Now, here's your host, Reverend Temple Hayes.
And welcome, everyone. How are you? Oh, my goodness, all of you intentional spirits out there. We love that you connect with us and follow us and listen to the tools, not rules, but the tools that we offer in order that we are intentional. And I say it every week, maybe as much as I need it as anybody. There's a big difference between being intentional and having good intentions.
Mm-hmm.
And that, you know, when we have good intentions, New Year's resolutions, we're going to start walking every day.
Yep.
You know, we're going to watch what we're putting in our body. We're not going to mentalize things and all that stuff. We got an expert here today that's going to be talking about those things. It's one thing to have good intentions, but it's one thing to be intentional that, you know, you follow through. And one of the things I've found is that often people let external circumstances change their plans. For being intentional, you just keep going. You keep taking those baby steps and those small steps. So it's my pleasure today to have here in the studio with me Miss Sharon Brown, and she has a story to tell. So Sharon, tell us tell us a little bit about your story. Were you born intentional? Tell our audience some of the things about your path that really, brought you into a place of where you are. Often, many of us go through tragedy, or we go through health challenges, or things like that. So, what's your story?
Yeah, so, let me see. First of all, no, I'm not originally from Florida. I'm originally from Brooklyn, New York, and I spent the last maybe about 20 years or so living in Maryland, and I recently moved to Florida. Exactly July 1st is when I crossed the border, so I'm so excited to be here with you. So much has happened in that time. But over the last 20 years, my career has been in the field of K-12 education, and it was a very rewarding one. Mm-hmm. And I did great work. I love the people that I met during that time. But have you ever in your lifetime been doing great work, enjoying what you were doing, but all the while something inside of you is telling you that there's something else that you're supposed to be doing?
Oh, yeah. The soul's doing that, isn't it? Telling us there's more. There's definitely more. I'm going through the motions and I'm loving it.
Yeah.
But there's more. I make it a distinction of the difference between good and amazing.
I like that.
So,
I like that.
Yes.
I like that.
I'm so with you. I imagine a lot of people are.
Yeah.
Feel free to put your comments in if that's a person that's related to you right now too, whether it's relationship or work or whatever.
Yeah.
That it's good. It's good, but you want it to be amazing.
Right.
Yeah.
So it was not yet at amazing, and I have had multiple opportunities throughout my career in K-12 to say, okay, Sharon, you can make the leap now. Move in the direction that you know you're being called to. But I was afraid because I knew how my check came. My check came doing this thing, and every 1st and 15th or whatever the date was for the job, my check would hit. This last time before I finally... And I say I left K-12, but I still feel like I'm an advocate, so I didn't really leave. I'm just not working in that sector anymore. But this last time before I left, I said, okay, I'm taking the leap because you might not believe this, but I am 46 years old.
No, we don't believe that. For more information about that topic, contact Sharon Brown.
So I said, what are you waiting for? Are you waiting? Really, what I said to myself is, are you waiting until death? Like, what I want to, in the words of a pastor that I admire, who's no longer with us physically, I want to die empty. I want to die knowing that I've done everything I came here to do, and that I've touched the lives that I was supposed to touch. In the meantime, while I was not doing what I felt drawn to, which was helping people understand the connection between how they treat themselves with food, how they take care of themselves, and their spirituality. In the meantime, I was experiencing health issues. For instance, one of the things I went through was severe adult acne for over a decade. And, you know, I just have to say, once I made the decision to say, that's it, no more of this, I'm leaving, today is the day, it's like the acne went away the next day. It makes me think of the story that Wayne Dyer
breaking
told
out and breaking
about,
in.
Yeah, he told about his daughter with, I can't remember what she had on her face, but she prayed about that thing and it went away. I didn't pray about it. I just made a decision to finally move into the fear and just do what I believe I was called to do. And like the next day, the acne went away. Anyway, so I was dealing with that. I was pre-diabetic. My fibroids were the size of grapefruits, and I can just keep going down the list. I was walking down the stairs. My girlfriend, my best friend, one day was visiting and said to me, "Why are you walking down the stairs like an old lady?" My knees were in pain, my back was in pain, everything. And I decided it was time to take care of myself, move into the direction I knew I was being called into, and help other people cross over that bridge, if you will. And so that's when I decided, okay, I'm doing this spiritual nutrition thing 100%. It's the way that I am going to live. I have no idea how it's going to work. And I'm here.
It's like we say in the Science of Mind teachings, what I am looking for, indeed I'm looking with. You know, what I'm looking for, I'm looking with. And I love in your story as an intentional spirit that throughout that process, it wasn't like, you know, can you believe it? You know, I mean, you didn't let victimhood run your experience. You were having an experience, but you're so much more than all of that. So it's a beautiful story of how you shape-shifted from, you know, here I am. I know I want to go through changes. I've been working with an idea that, you know, everybody, even those of you listening, and me, and Sharon, you know, we say we want change, but there's a big difference between we want change and we want to change. Right?
You have all these
and
little...
so, and I'm sure somebody brilliant said that, and I'm just copying what they said. But that's so true, because there is a big difference. So you were saying, I want to change. And I think a point that I want to make about that is often people say, okay, I do want change, and then their body starts acting up, and they see it wrong. They go, and on top of everything else, right? As if I didn't have enough on my plate or enough decisions to make. Now my body's messing up too, when it's the opposite.
It is.
My body is now aligning with me. And my body my body doesn't lie. I can pretend. You know, I can promise myself I'm going to leave this career or step out on faith. But my body's saying, Sharon, girl, we're not buying that. So we're going to break your face out. You know.
And, you know, I think about some of my clients and the challenges that they're facing, because when we first come together in the client relationship, you know, they think it's all about the food. And yeah, we get that taken care of, and they lose the weight and all of that. And then a lot of times what happens is they hit a plateau. And so that opens the door to allow the conversation to evolve and move beyond the food. And when we start to move beyond the food, what I discover and what they allow themselves to become aware of is there are other things that are happening in their lives. There are avoidances. There are blocks that they've put in place, things that they know they should be moving forward in life, and they're not. And so it shows up in high blood pressure or diabetes. A lot of times when we see when we see these diseases showing up in our bodies are letting us know we are out of alignment, like what you said.
I like what you're saying, because I like to use the idea that it's not only what you're eating, it's what's eating you. Right?
I should have a notepad just writing down all these little things you're saying.
We're in this together, girl. And I have exceeded 46 a couple of times, so that might have a little bit to do with it. But, well, and the part about it is because of, you know, in your becomingness, you've gone through the experiences. I love listening to someone talk about health and well-being, a flexible body, the fluidity of spirit. I don't know about everybody else listening. We welcome your comments, but I enjoy that, you know, learning from somebody that it's been your experience. You've been there. You went through the trenches, you know, you were over there, and then you had this whole revelation.
Yeah, and you know what helped, what I would say, because you brought up the flexibility of the body, one of the things that started it off for me, something in me kept saying, try yoga, try yoga, try yoga. And so I didn't go to any class or anything. I bought my little DVD out of, I think, Target or somewhere like that for $20. And I just made a commitment to myself every day to do that for 20 minutes in the morning. 5 o'clock in the morning, I'd wake up and do that. And then after that, I said, okay, I'm going to add prayer to this. So then I would pray after yoga. Then I started praying during yoga. While all of this was happening, number one, I can't forget the day when I was running down the stairs because I was late going somewhere. And I was running down the stairs and I said, oh my God, I'm running down the stairs. And that's when I realized, okay, something is shifting in me. And then I decided, okay, I want to be a yogi. And I had no idea what that meant to be a yogi. But long story short, after about 2 or 3 years of saying I want to be a yogi, I said, let me sign up for a class. And
Absolutely.
It was a year-long class. I loved the experience. I loved the school. It was in Maryland. I loved my teachers. And in that process, what I learned was, and it connects back to something that you just said, I was already what I thought I was going to go be. So anyway, so like I was saying, so it was allowing my mind to quiet in the morning, that opened up the opportunity for me to go inside and touch my higher self, touch God, and begin to make the changes in my life that have brought me here thus far, even to the point of moving when I had no idea where I was moving to, what St. Petersburg looked like, anything. But that's where I am now. It took me 40-something years to say, hey, you know what, this going with spirit thing, I think I'm going to try that.
Yeah, it's certainly working for you, isn't it? Yeah, the allowing, the letting go. And of course, we have a joke here in St. Petersburg. I kind of started it. In order to get to heaven, you must relocate to St. Peter's.
I can believe that.
And of course, we know heaven is a state of mind. But you have a new book out, The Wellness Purpose Connection.
Yes, ma'am.
Wow. So this whole experience has totally transformed your life.
Yeah.
I want to read a comment here.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. It's not just what you're eating. It's what's eating you. Welcome, Kim. And Debbie and Carol and David, my bro, David Alex, everybody that's here. Appreciate you being with us today, and keep those comments coming. We really appreciate you. So, the Wellness Purpose Connection. And so your life is truly like transformed.
Yeah.
You know, I think that often when a lot of times people talk about spirituality and oming and you know and being in a place of silence and stillness, and all of that is wonderful. There's an element though that often people negate or forget about: their physical body, their mental body, their emotional body. It's all of these four, and how they call for our attention. You know, sometimes we hope they don't call for our attention in a loud shout.
Right.
But it's at any given moment, you know, some of those things, isn't it?
Yeah.
So what do you address in your book, The Wellness Purpose Connection?
So, I just want to give you the story about...
Give it, girl. Give us the story. What you waiting on? We're ready for the story, and then we want to know how to do our hair like that.
Oh, my goodness. Okay.
So those are two very important things for me today. I have a little bit of an agenda. Give us your story.
All right. So, it was actually March 3rd. I was still living in Maryland.
As in this past March?
This year.
As in the other day?
The other day, as my mother would say.
March 3rd.
March 3rd, 2017. I was waking up. I was still living in Maryland. And you you ever had an experience where you hear someone calling you, or you think you hear someone calling you and you're not sure, but the sound it gets closer and closer? Yeah. That is what was happening. I was waking up, and that is what I heard was the wellness purpose connection. The wellness, and it just kept getting closer and closer until I answered the voice back and said, "What is that?" Right? And then all of a sudden there was, the only way I can think to say it is there was a download. There was a download. First, wellness was broken down, and then purpose was broken down. And the fact that, there are many of us who, when we think of purpose, we think of, what did I come here to do? What should my job be? But it's more than that. It was, what was broken down for me were 3 purposes that we all have.
Wow.
And so at the end of it all, what I heard was, get up and write. Don't do anything, just write. So I didn't brush my teeth. I was still in my pajamas, face not washed, but the laptop was open, and I just typed until it all poured out.
Just all washed it and washed over you.
And, I knew that the book was a start of something. It wasn't the complete thing. And it's so funny because since I moved down here, I've met someone, which you may know, Dr. Mark Tong. And yeah. And when I funny story how I met him, because I just said, I'm going to go meet that man. But anyway, so I went and met him, and talking to him, I found out, oh my goodness, like that's what he teaches is one of the pieces to my book.
Absolutely.
So he's actually my coach now. So that's a wonderful thing. But in the wellness purpose connection, basically I share what you just said about how our bodies will speak to us if we are not in alignment with all 3 of our purposes. And in each of them, there are lessons for us to learn, and there are lessons that people are learning from us by observing us as we learn our lessons.
Yes.
So that's the skinny on the book.
That's real powerful.
Yeah.
Well, we just can't end there. So you got us like really wanting more and more and more. What are our 3 purposes?
Okay, so
what are and give us some teasers, because we need the book,
right?
and by the way, I'm talking to Sharon Brown. She's all that and then some, which is apparent, and her website is Sweet Eden by Sharon. That's Sweet Eden by Sharon, SHERON.
Yep.
And we're delighted to have her, and she's in studio today, which we love. And I know Rick Finbo, more. How do you like it? How do you like it? That's it. I mean, we're just having a really good time today. So just love all of you, and thank you for being here. And a lot of people are commenting and telling you hello. That's right.
Hi.
So what are our 3 purposes?
So the first one is the one that we're all familiar with. It is what we came to do, that thing that I was struggling with when I was still in K-12 for all those years. So that one is the one we always hear about. But
some of the calling stuff.
Yes,
right?
yes, because, if you think about it, we were a seed of our parents, and inside of each seed, there's programming, there's information, right? And so what is that programming, and are we allowing that to blossom forth, right? Yeah. So that's the first part, the first purpose. The second one, the juicy, like I like to call it, are our soul's lessons, right? There are lessons that we're here to learn, and oftentimes we know we have not learned the lessons when we have these repeating patterns in our life. Whatever the pattern may be for you. For me, one of them had to do with, control. I needed to control everything. And so I continue to how it showed up for me was I continued to have supervisors where I had no control. So that's just one of the soul lessons. But then the other lesson, or the other purpose I should say, is one that we all have collectively together, and that is how we treat our earth that we live on, right? And so again, and the way the book came out of me, I'll even use the word channel, but the way the book came out of me, it was as if they built on each other, but that ultimate purpose of nurturing the earth, that was the ultimate one. So it was like just getting in alignment with ourselves for each of them, kind of like on a hierarchy.
Oh yeah. I really like that.
Yeah.
That's really cool, and I love the way you've tied it all together. It's the Trinity of purpose, isn't it?
Ooh, I'm going to steal that.
It's like that. No, it's just downloading right now, so you can have it. But it'd be the Trinity of purpose, because often it's body, mind, and spirit can be a Trinity, at least in New Thought.
Yeah.
And then, or the past, future, and past, present, and future is another Trinity. But you're downloading like a whole thing around who you are. Yeah. And I love how you're identifying that, because I think of when I think of children, I think about being born and all of that. I love Khalil Gibran, the mystic prophet that said that your children come through you, but not from you. And they are life's longing for itself. Sons and daughters of life longing for itself. And I really love that. I mean, it's really powerful, because we do, I speak about it frequently, we do have it backwards in our society. Is that, adult people have baby people and tell baby people what they know or do not know. Instead of adults have baby people, because it's at the right time that those baby people show up to give them new wisdom. Yeah. So can you feel that?
Absolutely. I have a son who he just turned 20 about a month ago. And I oftentimes say that he saved my life because I was running around confused doing foolishness. Yeah. And once he was born, I had to settle down, because what I thought was, I have another human being I need to take care of. Right. But he was definitely a part of my evolution and my learning, because I had to learn. Let me say it like this. While he was still in my room, I cannot remember what I was watching or what I was listening to, but what I was listening to something, and it said something to the effect of, from the time the child leaves the womb, they are growing in independence, or something like that. But basically, at that time, I realized, I need to practice now that I won't have control, because everything, with each step, he's growing in independence, being cut from the umbilical cord, not being breastfed anymore, not needing me to feed him anymore, not needing me to walk him to school anymore. And so now he's at his own place where he's discovering life, and I found myself in this worry, frantic. You know how you could feel the worry happening in your body? And I had to release that, because I said, Sharon, you were only a conduit to get him here. And now he's here to do whatever it is he came to do. What I can do now is be a guide, pray, give advice, and just trust that he will serve his purpose that he came to serve.
It's powerful, that letting go, that allowing and letting be. And that's what you're urging all of us to do with the wellness purpose, connection. Because you have this strong tie-in with the fact that it's about our bodies are always telling us, where we are with the Trinity of purpose, isn't it? It's always letting us know, where we're at with that. And often to me, the body allows us an opportunity to cry out loud. Or to, especially those that are immersed in positive thinking, or are people motivated, or just it's a brand new day or whatever. But it's one way in our society that we have created. We have clear permission, without judgment, to complain about our shoulder or our knee or our elbow, whereas, we might be hesitant to say, I'm just having a really, really challenging day, but I could say, but my elbow's been aching today.
It's like it's a trophy.
It's a trophy. Like, here we go.
I just sent a text to a friend the other day, and I said to her, why do people talk about their ailments as if they won a trophy? Like the lady that was in the room that I was listening to, I can't remember what she said she had. I have this thing, but and if your doctor lets you know you have it, call me. I'm an expert. Why are you happy? I mean, I'm glad she knows what to do to take care of herself. Right. But why are you happy that she ran off in about 2 minutes, 4 different things that were going on with her.
Right.
And I thought to myself, that doesn't have to be the case.
Right.
You don't have to have all those things going on with you. Like, there's something you can do. Yes, one of the first areas we can start with is food. Yes, another area we can start with is movement and exercise. Absolutely, because this thing that we're given that's called our body needs those things. But then we're forgetting what's the most important part. And it's our connection.
It's our
to
connection.
Source. Yeah.
Our connection to Source. That's so very, very true. I just love that. I was doing a class here a few days ago, and I was just kind of, you know, that's why I love teaching class, because you just kind of, I don't like having a plan.
Right.
You know? And so I was talking about how that, you know, people ask me, you know, certain things about, you know, you don't, how are you feeling? And I was saying to them that that's not how I start my day. How am I feeling? You know, a lot of people wake up in the morning and go, how am I feeling? Knee, are you hurting? Arm, leg, shoulder, do my checklist. I'm feeling kind of off, or, you know, I wasn't feeling that great yesterday, but I'm feeling better today. I said, I start my day with spirit, making that connection first. I'm not saying the feelings aren't there. We're designed to have them. You know, they're part of our being in a human suit of various feelings, but that's not my first primary focus, is how am I feeling? Because some people can't ever get past there, you know. So it's that practice of, you know, good morning, spirit, here I am. I certainly want to be open to the mystery of life. I'm going to do my best to not tell you that I'm going to have the same day I had yesterday. Because you're so right on. I mean, often, every day is like an empty eraser, an empty chalkboard, you know, or an eraser board. And we tend to write down, like the woman, the same things every day. You know, here I am, and this is happening, that's happening, that's happening, this is what's going on, this is what I'm doing. And it's such a disservice to what is possible. To be willing, you know, to be in a space of something new that we don't know yet. Yeah.
You made me, so that's a great way to wake up. I might have to amend what I say. But when I wake up, the thing I say is, I don't know how grand it is, but I say, okay, I'm alive. I'm still here. Yeah. That means there's more for me to do.
Yeah,
that's
absolutely, yeah. Well, I do too. I'm pretty excited that I'm alive. You know, sometimes I check a little longer, like, here we are. But I like to identify with the consciousness of Jesus and Sai Baba and John of God and, you know, Gandhi and whatever, Martin Luther King Jr., whatever. I like to say I want to be accessible for that assessment, you know, that part, I'm willing for that part of originality to flow through me. Not to be exactly like something or someone, but to be open of what is possible. Yeah. You know, for whatever miracles can come our way. Right?
Yeah. I love what you say. I guess
I love what you say. So it's a good thing. We're making a good team here. And thank all of you for checking in and continuing to make your comments. I really appreciate that. We have a comment, I wake with gratitude.
Oh, nice.
That's a big one. For years, I used to write down 50 things I loved about my life.
Oh, wow.
And at first, I was so other-oriented, you know, of that in my 20s, I was so other-oriented that I was uncomfortable recognizing what I liked about my life. Yeah. And so it was a strain at first, you know, until the list got easier. I got more comfortable, you know, recognizing and thanking and that awareness. But I want to tune in a little bit because I want to talk about when you talk about the food.
Okay.
Take us there and give us some insight, because I know that sometimes when people talk about, well, you need to change the way you're eating, we kind of fill in the gap of what we think about that.
Okay.
So what do you think about that?
What I think about
You didn't know this was going to be so much fun, now, did you? I told you, this is fun.
Oh, goodness. What do I think about the way
when you're talking to people about food and the way they eat, do you have certain recommendations you make about, I mean, does it require people being vegetarian, being vegan, not eating so much, alkalinity? I mean, when you talk about it, what are you, so I don't make an assumption about it.
Well, for myself, what works for me and what I have understood that works for my body is eating as a vegetarian.
Okay.
I don't like to say a label like I'm vegetarian or I'm vegan. I eat in this way.
Yeah.
Most times I eat vegan raw, but that's not for everyone. So one of the first things we do is, people usually come to me saying, well, I want to go on a cleanse or I want to go on a fast. Okay, well, let's back up with that. Why, first of all, do you want to do that? What is the intention of that? And what I found is sometimes that's not really what the answer needs to be. And they come to a place of awareness where they realize that's not what the answer needs to be either. But wherever it is we start from, I encourage, there's such a word as bio-individuality. I got that from my teacher. And bio-individuality.
Okay, that sounds really...
Right.
Yeah, bio-individuality.
So I have a friend who recently discovered that eating as a pescatarian is what works best for her body. So that's what I do, first of all. I help you figure out what works best for your body. Beef is not for everyone. Right. I know it's not for me because we'll be having a problem if I eat some beef after we're done.
Okay. You and me both. I will not be going there.
Right. No. So number one, it's figuring out what works best for your body, and we may do that. There are so many diets out there. I don't claim one or another, but some version of an elimination diet where we back up off of all the things that you are consuming that you don't know if they're harming you or not. Issues with going to the bathroom or what have you, well, let's examine that. So
work with that.
Right. So that's one. But in particular when it comes to folks wanting to lose weight, and that's what a lot of people come to me for, they want to lose weight, but then as we go in, we find there's more to go into. It's not just about the food, right? It's examining, okay, why do you think you have to have apples and blue cheese? I remember I had a client, she was so cute. She would always say things to me like, I'm not giving up my, whatever it is, my barbecue chicken and blah, 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 whatever. And she would just run down the list every week. I'm not giving up mine. And then the next 2 weeks we talk, I remember sometimes I'd even write notes to myself to say, okay, don't ask her about it this week, but ask her to challenge herself on what her thinking is about why she has to have blue cheese with apples.
Yes.
What and then
where's that come from?
Right. Exactly.
What is that
exactly. And so what we found at the end of our relation, the coaching cycle came to a close. Oh my goodness, she not only lost a lot of weight, she shed herself of relationships that I didn't even know she was in that was harming her.
Oh my.
And so as she, I'm going to say, learn to love herself more about how she treats herself with the food she put in her body and loving herself, she let a 13-year relationship go that I didn't even know was a bad one in the coaching session. So so that's why I always just say it's not about the food, but I'll help you lose weight, but it's not just about the food.
Yeah. Well, and I know too that people say to me, and I just want to be clear, as you have said, some people need to eat beef, some need to eat chicken and fish and animal protein, and others of us don't need to right now. And I think that's one of the things I enjoy about this journey is I live in the practice that one size doesn't fit all. And I've never needed people to be in my club for me to be comfortable. I've never been going around going, well, they're gay or they're vegetarian or, I'm not, or no, I'm only vegetarian. It's like if people come to my house and they eat, meat, then I'm going to order meat for them and I'm going to be so happy for them. Or I can't drink. I mean, it's been 30 years, no alcohol, right? If I could, I would. But I mean, people that want to drink, bring it on, I'm happy for you. And so I like that freedom of that. But I I think that, for people, because the moment you said, you're just determined, or you got to have dairy, or you got to have this, or you're not willing to change, I know there's already people out there going, nope, I'm not giving that up.
Right.
And so I always say, wean off and take a break for 30 days. Because when people would say, maybe dairy isn't good for you, this is years ago,
right,
I'd go, I can't imagine. I grew up on a dairy farm and grew up, my grandfather was. I didn't grow up right there on the property, but, I didn't go out and do the cow thing or anything. But, we had a lot of dairy products. We did. And I couldn't imagine not having cheese. But I took a 30-day period off, and then I had it. And then I went, oh, my gosh.
Oh, wow.
And wheat is the same way.
Okay.
You take a break from it. And I think that often is the stopper for people. They think, oh, you're asking me to give this up for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
My grandmother did it, and her grandmother did it, and, my family's always done this. But our vibration changes.
Yeah.
It really does.
Yeah.
Don't you think? I will.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a thing where, well, first of all, not to sound negative or anything, but the rest of your life could be tomorrow. So why are we even worried about how long I'm going to go without this thing?
Right.
Here's the thing. Here's something I say.
Tell it.
I have a group on Facebook. It's called Going Raw Together. And I always say, even though it's called Going Raw Together, it's not about, oh, you got to eat raw 100% of the time. Or, I just had this thing in the group where I say post your dinner every day, even if your dinner is cooked. It's not about if you ate chicken or didn't eat chicken. It's just about allowing the bounty that's out there.
Asking.
Because the more you make yourself open to the abundance of food types that are out there, the more choices you have.
The more choices that you have. And at the end of the day, it's almost like that there has been such a loss of the sacredness of food. There's the moment that says, what does my body want today?
Yeah.
And do I want this? I mean, I used to be a Taco Bell queen.
Oh my goodness, me too.
Girl,
me too.
Get the car there. I traveled the country. It's like, where is my Taco Bell? Give me that Taco Bell. And one day, I didn't go to Taco Bell, I didn't go to Taco Bell anymore. And probably out of 15, 18 years, I may have been twice. But it was a regularity that I didn't ask myself, do you want this? Do you really want this? Is this going to be good for you? Is this going to bring you to a happy place? It's just kind of like, well, it's, it'll fill me up. It's easy. The drive-through. I often say, long-term drive-through window leads to the, prescription drive-through window too.
You got all these sayings, Temple.
Oh, I don't know.
You do. You sure do.
From one drive-through window to the other.
Yeah.
So it's a consciousness thing too. Of that sacredness. Does my body want this? And that also is about the place of fullness. Fullness. We overeat often because it's time, or because there's a group of people coming, or because of that. Anita is saying hers was Chipotle.
Oh,
Anita,
I was there with you. I love Chipotle. But then even with that, after a while, I said, okay, I'll take the brown rice. Okay, I won't take any meat. But yeah. But if I'm stuck, and I am on a long-distance drive, and there's a Chipotle, I might stop there and get the bowl, But
you're going to bless it.
Yeah, right.
You're going to bless it.
Right. And, when we find ourselves saying, I got to have this thing, there usually is a reason behind it. There was, okay, I'm going to tell on myself, okay. But there was, once upon a time, this vodka that I really like.
I'm glad we met now instead of then, because we would have been in trouble. We wouldn't have been able to even finish out this show.
Oh my goodness! And I don't even remember the name of the vodka. I just know if I saw the bottle, I could point it out and say that one right there.
Right.
And somehow I discovered I don't know what spirit this was, the spirit of the vodka. But somehow I discovered that when I mixed it with ginger ale and put it on ice, oh, it was delightful. It was just delightful. And I started having it every day after work. 1 glass, sometimes 2. And the pounds were coming on because this vodka was syrupy sweet, y'all. It was syrupy sweet.
We're talking serious.
Oh my
vodka.
God, yeah. And once I released it, you know, I had to go through my process. But once I just said, Sharon, why do you need to have this every day after work?
Right.
Don't go turn it into an alcoholic now. What are you doing? But once I released it and I'm able to now step back and look at what was happening, I wasn't happy in my job. Yeah, so
filling a hole.
That was that. Yeah,
filling a hole.
So what I now realize, as I'm talking to you in this moment, I realize I replaced it with making food, healthy food. Like the time that I would take when I came home to make my drink and sit on the couch and watch TV, and that's it. I started making healthy food. I don't know what happened there, but I just did. And I'm happier, I'm healthier. So see, there's the difference between, I can do this work, I'm not really happy, I don't like my supervisor, yada, yada, versus, I'm happy. Let me make some healthy food. I mean, that sounds kind of obnoxious. It might make some people say, shut up, I don't want to hear
you. Healthy mind and healthy body. Debbie's saying that she makes a commitment to eat clean for a week, and then the cravings begin to diminish.
Yep.
You know, that's right.
That's true.
I'm 1 carbohydrate chip away from a whole bag. Once you open that door, you have to put the screen on it, put the lock, and, you know, everything. Put that lock on that door. No doubt about it. What a blessing. I want to remind you again to go to Sweet Eden by Sharon. Sweet Eden by Sharon, SHERON.com. And check out the Wellness Purpose Connection.
Yeah.
Yes.
Sweet Eden, because I believe I'm here to inspire bliss. So, you know, like the Garden of Eden.
I knew all that. I knew all that. Yeah. You're bringing in that Sweet Eden. Yeah. Oh, yeah. In the garden.
Another thing I forgot to share was, I'm so excited because I actually have a class coming up on the book. So, yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So you do. So when is the class?
Shame on me for not knowing the date, but it is the Saturday. It's online, so it's the Saturday. It starts the Saturday after Thanksgiving. How timely!
That's a real good time to get everybody before the the holy day, the busy making, all that season of jolly and way too much. Yes, that's a perfect time to do it. So the information's on your website.
Actually, no. But if someone wanted to know more about the class and just reach out to me through my contact page, I would.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And we can find you on your Facebook page.
Absolutely.
Right? Okay. Because your Facebook page is Sharon Brown.
It's Sharon Brown, Ph.D.
Ph.D. Ph.D. I mean, check this out, PhD. I have a PhD too. It's called Prayer, Humility, and Devotion.
All right now.
You know, that's my practice of PhD, right?
I like that.
It's
prayer,
an ongoing
devotion, and
prayer, PhD.
Right.
Prayer, humility, devotion.
Humility. Okay, I like that.
Prayer, humility, devotion.
I'm gonna remember that.
Yeah.
Too many things to remember. I'll just have to watch this over with my notebook and capture all these little nuggets.
Or we'll have another show. Yeah, we're getting lots of good comments, and we do appreciate all of you tuning in with us. We love to hear from you, and I want to thank you so much for your sharing the show with others. It's because of you that people are tuning in and checking in from all over the world, and I am very, very grateful.
Absolutely.
Very, very grateful. So a lot of people that are moving along past 30, past 40, past 50, that have not ever gotten into any kind of yoga practice, what do you feel is their best, what's the best start? Is it a DVD from
I think so like with the bio-individuality of food, I think it has a lot to do with who you are as a person. If you're, now dig this, can you believe I'm an introvert? But if you're an introvert like me, you might want to start in your home with a DVD.
Yes.
Or you might want to start with a yoga teacher who will come to your home. I did that for a little while in Maryland as well, going to folks' home to teach yoga. If you're someone who you like crowds, you like connection, you want to be around people, then go ahead and find a class. Yeah.
And so is it easy to get to a level with it if you just are consistent? I know we're talking broad, but did you find it easy for you once you got into the rhythm?
Absolutely. You know, when you see younger generations sometimes in their poses.
Like us.
In their poses, you think, I can't do that.
How did you get your leg up there?
Right, how about that?
How did that happen?
One of the things that I love so much about the school that I went to, I can't speak for other schools, I can only speak for the school I went to, is that we learned, and I learned that yoga is for everyone, and we learned how to make the poses accessible to everyone. Even the ones that look really complicated, there are such things called props that help us get our bodies there. So you know, I'm thinking like my leg. I have an issue with my. Let's say that another way. Sometimes there's an issue that shows up. I don't have it. Sometimes there's an issue that shows up in my
from somewhere else, but it doesn't belong to me. Right. It wants to land on me though. And there are certain poses where my leg might not want to go up, but thanks to a prop called a strap, and my teacher who taught me the steps to get into the pose, then I'm able to access it. So that's it. You know, if you're that person who you're thinking, I want to try it, but I don't know, it's finding, and you might have to visit a couple of schools in your area, right? But it's finding the teacher that takes the time to walk you through the steps. Another thing, try Yoga 1 if you go to a class, or even Gentle. Like, that's a good beginning if you've never before, and you can't even bend over and touch your knee, much less your toes. Like, that's a good place to start. Yoga 1 or Gentle. There. Yeah, start there. Wow, so that's powerful. So, and we can all start today. Yeah. We can do something.
Yep.
You know, that's the good news. We can do something, just little baby steps, if you will.
Yeah.
So the Trinity of Purpose is your calling, and I know the contribution to the earth.
Yeah.
And what's the middle one?
Your soul's purpose.
Soul purpose.
The lessons.
So the calling, and then the lessons that are coming your way.
Yeah.
That could be acne. You know.
Yeah.
Could be an awakening. Could be something physical.
Right.
It could be some special people. They turn out to be really special in your life, because it's not always the people that really get you and love you and see you. You know,
that's so true.
It's often the people that, you know,
that's so true,
teach you what you don't want to be like, that's or it's not so easy.
Yeah,
it's instructive, but it's not so kind.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, absolutely. I have to say, you know, after the book, it's written, it's in print, it's in black and white, but it's not done, right? It's one that even after you read it, it's still evolving, and your life is still going, and there's still more. So you put it down, but you're still living it. To speak to what you just said. Yeah.
It's really powerful. I'm thinking of a couple of children that have been here in the community, and how early on they were tagged autistic, you know, and they were, and people were labeling them autistic. And the very nature of the commitment on behalf of the parents to step back from that and not just jump into a system of that,
right,
you know, and let everybody start telling them, this is the one label and here's what you have to do. With making some nutritional choices and some exposure of some different life experiences, both children are doing exceptionally well.
Yeah.
So that's really powerful, and who knows, maybe you're going to bring all this back around to that K-12,
you know, and
you're going to impact, because that's one of the, you know, when I was little, I started to say when I was growing up, but I'm still growing up. But when I was little, I would get up in the morning and I would be served toast with a big old sheet of butter, a lot of butter on it, and white sugar.
Oh, what is that called?
It was like toast with butter and sugar on it.
Oh, no special name?
No.
Okay.
No, my father made it for me. It was like a quick thing to make.
Oh, wow.
And here I'm laced in sugar.
Yeah.
Before I go to school.
Yeah.
You know, and then it's like, and then I'm louder than anybody and talking more than anybody because I was not given the right food to start out with. And I then became this person that craved sugar. And then through craving sugar, then it was candy bars.
Yeah.
And then when I'm in teenage years, you know, it's not that cool to sit around and eat candy bars.
Yeah.
So it then transcended from sugar and wine and, you know, alcohol. And it is definitely, it's an epidemic in our society. Sugar altogether has weakened us from a level of awareness and connection. And I think it's interesting when, you know, so many people in our communities today have cancer because the number one thing you cannot have when you have cancer is sugar. So there's definitely a big, bold, and brave message in there somewhere. There definitely is. And thank you, Mary Jo, for saying that. You're right. Children need a chance to grow, and they need to create their path without a label. Don't y'all love it that I lean forward? I'm like, right in your face. I lean forward, go, how you doing out there in the box? We're so happy to see you. It's so nice.
We
it's
are.
so nice. It makes you feel like fish feel.
I know, right?
Here we
like,
are.
Who's coming in?
Here you are on the aquarium. We're getting up real close. How you doing in there? We just love doing this show. It's just really wonderful. I told you, it's like, to me, learning, it has to be fun. You know, we're all way too serious in our society enough. So we want to make it fun. Well, I know it's hard to believe, but we're at the end of our time. So I know. Well, we just have to have you back. So, I want to thank all of you for being here, and I just want to reiterate that you want to check out Sharon Brown. It's SHERON Brown. Ph.D. is her Facebook page. Her website is Sweet Eden, because she's going to take you to the garden.
Hey.
Sweet Eden by Sharon.com. And we're asked to do another show together. All right, Kim, we'll listen to you, girl. Listen to you. So it's been a pleasure being with all of you.
Yes,
and
indeed.
Like I said, look at this hair. Isn't that like some of the most beautiful dew you've ever seen? I'm like, wow. Because I've met her for the first time today, too. But in spirit, I've known you a long time.
Absolutely.
I felt that the moment I saw you in the reception area. I went, that girl, she's a home girl. I fit right in with her. She's my home girl. So thank you for everybody giving us your comments, and we appreciate you. Isn't that right, Anitra? That is some cool hair. You got that on. You know Anitra?
I know Anitra.
Oh, that girl, she's been leaving. Yeah, she's been leaving you comments.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, your friends are tuning in today.
That's good.
Thank you, Debbie. Thanks, Rick, Carol, all of you. Really love and appreciate you. And namaste. Just continue to be the light of love today.
Absolutely.
And know that this world is a better place because you're in it as an intentional spirit. Thank you so much.